When it comes to Giant Dizzy Gillespie, a lot of people have posted comments saying you should do entire videos about me playing with dolls. A few things hold me back from that. One, you've pretty much seen my entire doll collection. I don't collect action figures, and actually this stuff, almost everything I've used belongs to my little brother. And he just keeps these more as kind of mementos. This was a gift to him from somebody who went to, I think it was in New York City, New Orleans, something like that. Giant Dizzy Gillespie was just a statue in a gift shop that was given to him by a very good friend of his. The other thing is, I don't really plan on using Giant Dizzy Gillespie because he's actually starting to show a lot of wear and tear, and I've accidentally damaged him very slightly, and I don't want to keep doing that because he's not mine. The other thing is, you need to be careful what you wish for, is because me playing with dolls was gonna be a one-time thing. I actually kind of hated to do it a second time. I just had a really funny idea for a racist Superman to come in like that. But I don't think you'll see me playing with dolls anymore because it's a bit that would get old very, very quickly. You would get very tired of me just playing with dolls, making stupid voices and kind of improvising that stuff. It wouldn't be funny after a while. I mean, in 2-minute bursts, yeah, it's kind of funny, but if I kept visiting it, you would be overexposed, and you would just really grow to hate it, and I think you would grow to hate it pretty quickly. A lot of people ask me, what good games have I played? Really not many. Lately, anyway. Some of the games I've been playing are I tend to play a lot of retro games, because I don't think they've really made that many games that have been good lately. For instance, I've gone back and I've been started to play Planescape Torment again, which is probably one of the best games ever made. And so I find it's really cool to play that both as a good guy and as a bad guy, because it actually is a very different experience. If you haven't played that game, it's definitely worth checking out, because it's probably the best game based on the Baldur's Gate type engine ever done. Other games, let's see. I bought a top-loader NES, and I've been basically raiding the used bookstore to find really good games. Games like Blaster Master or Castlevania 3, which I like a lot. I tend to play a lot of survival horror type games, mainly because they're so bad I just kind of find them fun in a cheesy way. I beat Silent Hill The Room, which I like to call Silent Hill The Escort Mission. I actually still think that's a very good game. The plot is very good. I don't like, a lot of times, 3 was fun, although at the same time I found 3 very frustrating because you basically couldn't fight anything. You spent the entire time running away from every single thing, and so a lot of people say, yeah, that's the point, you aren't supposed to be able to take a single thing, it's supposed to be just anything could jump out of the shadows and munch your brains. But I kind of like the ability to fight back, at least slightly. Like, if I was cornered, I could fight something and not have to waste all my ammo on one single monster. I've been playing, I'm a big fan of strategy games. Galactic Civilization, Civilization 4, I bought the Warlords expansion for that, that's a lot of fun. That one, you'll blink and all of a sudden 6 hours have passed. I mean, I'm really hooked by that kind of stuff. I recently bought Europa Universalis Rome, which I haven't played all that much. I just started reading the instructions, and the instructions are about that thick, so it's kind of crazy. Let's see... Oh, Siren. I actually stopped playing... There's this game for the PlayStation 2 called Siren. I stopped playing it for a while, and I picked it back up again. I hate Siren. I actually thought about doing a review on this one because it's so frustrating, and a lot of people like it a lot. Here's the deal with Siren. It's this survival horror game it has some of the worst controls I've ever seen. What I hate in survival horror games up to about Resident Evil 4, Eternal Darkness did controls right, but Resident Evil, a lot of times, before Resident Evil 4, what they would do is, I called it the turret control, where to move you would have to turn in place like a turret, then run forward. It was really frustrating. Like, a zombie would jump out in front of you, and to turn around or turn right, you would have to do this. I hated that, and Siren does that all the time. Worse, there's no use button. Like, if you see something in front of you and you want to pick it up, you don't just push X. You have to push the triangle button, access a menu, say pick up the item, and do things. If you want to interact with stuff, you have to push triangle, open a menu, do the interact thing. It's very tedious, and it stops the game. It stops the game dead in its tracks. The last thing is, what a lot of people like is it has a branching storyline. And it doesn't tell you what you have to do to kind of branch the storyline. Almost every mission has 2, sometimes 3 objectives that you have to accomplish in order for other people in parallel paths to advance. The problem is you have no idea what those things are. Those things are not immediately obvious at all. So, for instance, you have to put like a radio down a well, and then you have to kick a zombie down the well, and I don't even know what that does yet because I haven't gotten that far in the game. But if you hadn't read a strategy guide online, this would never be immediately obvious to you. You'd be like, oh, I have to kick a zombie down this well to proceed. The only objective you're given is you have to go from point A to point B. There's other things like you have to get a small towel. You have to soak the towel in water, and then for no reason you have to plug a freezer in a convenience store and put the towel in the freezer so that the towel freezes solid later for someone else. I don't know how you would ever get the idea to do that on your own. I don't know why your character would realize, oh, I have to put a frozen towel in a freezer, so on the off chance that someone else happens by this place and sees it, they might find it useful. Or I might come back and need a frozen towel later. I just don't get it. So you basically have to play this game with a strategy guide on the screen next to you. So you're basically reading the guide to know what to do as you play this mission. Then you do it. So I just don't see how there's any sense of discovery in this game. Unless you're willing to just play this game exhaustively, try to interact everything with everything, comb every map from top to bottom, looking for stuff to interact with. I just don't know why you do that. And besides that, the game is based entirely on trial and error, because all you're doing is you're memorizing movement patterns of the zombies. You're getting killed because, you know, like the first 6, 7, 8 times you do it, you don't know the patterns. And so it's really just exhaustively trying to figure out the right path to go to every time, and I just don't see how that's a game. I don't see how that's survival horror. You should be able to conceivably able to play this from beginning to end kind of in one sitting. You shouldn't have to die several times to memorize patterns. So, okay, that was a very long explanation of Siren, and I've kind of gone off track there. Let's see, I said Galactic Civilizations. Oh, I actually made a top 30 list, which I should probably translate into a video for a while back. But System Shock 2. If you have DOSBox and you know where to look for System Shock, that one is definitely worth a look. System Shock was one of the most unheralded games. It's been forgotten, and that's a shame because System Shock is some of the best storytelling, best action RPG ever done. And that's what kind of gets me about BioShock. I like BioShock a lot. Don't get me wrong. But for one, it was too easy. And this has kind of been gone over, but basically with the healing chambers, I realized that there was no penalty for dying. So basically, I didn't even fire a shot. I was just kind of berserking through every level, not worrying about getting shot, because if I died, I would just get better and run through. There was a patch that gave you the option of removing that, which made the game a lot better, because there was, if you died, that was it. But, on the other hand, basically all BioShock was a stripped-down version of System Shock 2. Welcome to 1997, guys. I mean, that was the best innovation they could come up with, is they basically did a visual uplift of a game that was made 10 years ago. That's really frustrating to me, because System Shock 2 is still a better game. So, you know, that was kind of the story with BioShock. That was it. By all means, play it. It's still very good. I like the atmosphere. I like the visual look. I like the theme. And I'm pretty sure they're going to do a sequel. That's kind of inevitable. But in case you're curious where BioShock came from, check out System Shock. The origin games of that decade are pretty much the defining games of computer games. They really didn't get much better than that. Origin was doing a lot of stuff that has never really been equaled. The Ultima games. Everything from Ultima 4 on up to, like, Ultima 9, which was a piece of shit. But Ultima 4, I still go back and play Ultima 4. That's abandonware, pretty much. You can find that, you can download any kind of version you want of that. You can find it on the NES, for God's sake. Wing Commanders 3, 4, and Prophecy. Prophecy wasn't great, but those games, if you're looking for good FMV games, Wing Commander 3 and 4, they have Mark Hamill in them, you know, Luke Skywalker, they have Tom Wilson, the guy who played Biff in Back to the Future. They really don't get much better than that. Malcolm McDowell, John Rhys Davies, Ripper was good. So those are kind of the games that I'm still kind of an origin file. Is if I'm ever looking for a good game, or if you're ever looking for a good game, I'll throw any one of those games at you and say they never made them any better than this.